Kamusta kayo lahat? My name is Cyn and I am the proud owner of CynfullySweets. What I want to show you today is how to make a beautiful green tea rustic cake using matcha, one of my favorite ingredients. And I've actually had a love affair with matcha for a long time, but a recent trip to Japan solidified that love affair, which is a nice bitter note softened with the sugar that we'll be using. For today, you'll need 3 cups of flour. You'll need 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of butter. We have 2 full eggs and 2 egg yolks, 2 tablespoons of matcha, 1 cup of milk, some table salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So to start, you want to actually preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. Grab your butter and your sugar and cream that in your mixer. So it should look nice and fluffy and lighter in color. Next, you want to grab your eggs and add them to the batter one at a time, mixing well after each addition. Just going to take a minute to scrape down the sides of the bowl. So now what you want to do is you want to mix your dry ingredients in your separate bowl. You want to put your 2 teaspoons of baking powder and just a generous pinch of table salt. So just whisk it until it's incorporated. Not a lot of fuzz. Next, you want to grab your milk and your matcha, the star ingredient. Grab about 2 tablespoons, generous amounts. Next, you want to whisk it. Smells so good. Nice and incorporated. Next, we'll be adding the flour to our batter, 1 cup at a time. You want to put your mixer on low so the ingredients don't splatter all over the place. And lastly, we have our mixture. Pouring it slowly into the bowl, making sure that it's nice and incorporated. And just beat until everything is nice and green, nice and aromatic, and your mixture is complete. So this is what you want your batter to look like. Nice and green, thick, no lumps. So once your batter is mixed, you want to grab your sheet pan and pour your batter into it, making sure that it's nice and level. Great, so your cake is now ready to go into the oven. Bake it for about 25 to 30 minutes or until your tester comes out clean. You'll see it's ready when you see a nice golden edge around your border. Now that your cake is baked, we're ready to actually start to play. Okay, so now we're going to start by getting our circle cutters and actually cutting our tiers into our cake. Let's just clear our workspace and bring our cakes front and center. We got our Swiss meringue buttercream with a little bit of matcha powder, which I just mixed into a nice paste and then worked it into my Swiss meringue while it was in the mixer. And we're gonna start first by putting a little bit of dollop. Doesn't have to be pretty, this is the beauty with Rustic. We'll play around with it later. Stacking your next cake. Another generous dollop. And your 3rd layer. Voila. Don't see much of it now, but you'll play with it in a little bit. Now we're just gonna move this little guy over to the center, make it nice and pretty. Grab our spatula, smother the frosting around just a little bit. Again, possibilities are endless. You guys can just fall in love with your dessert, decorate it pretty. Drizzle a little bit of matcha powder just on top. Give it that little bit of a nice. I like to skewer so my little guy stays in place. I have on hand some pretty sugar-made flowers. I'm just gonna place neatly, as so. Maybe add a little bit of foliage. I think we're done.